All right. Yeah. Welcome to Ringside Report. I am Dave Simon. AJ DeLesio is here.
In the house.
Freddie Garcia is here.
In the house.
And we are here to talk MMA with you over the next hour. We are on TSN 690 Radio on Friday nights. We are live on YouTube every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking us out. And you can check out more from the whole crew online at www.ringsidereport.net. You can like the video. You can watch us on YouTube. You can download the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, do all the things. We appreciate all the support. If you are watching the show tonight, you do see me, and I'm wearing shades. I'm wearing shades because there's something wrong with...
Kind of like Conor.
No, I'm not doing it to be cool. There's something wrong with my eye.
You're doing it for Conor.
My eye is all swole up. I can show you. See, it's kind of messed up. I can't really open up my eye.
That's what happens when you messed with your wife, buddy.
Yeah, no, she did not hit me. No one hit me. I got a deal in my eye. I'll be all right. I saw a doctor. It's fine.
No. Get
I'll
back
be
to
better.
what I said earlier.
I gave you
the same advice.
Yeah,
correct?
AJ gave me the same advice as the doctor gave me. I had to wait 2 hours to see a doctor, but when I could have just taken Dr. DeLesio's advice over here.
You could have just texted me, and I would have gave you that information. Take
I probably
a tea bag, put it on your eye.
Yeah.
It has to be a black tea bag, and then that's it.
Yeah, I took a tea bag, put on my eye. Just a warm thing on my eye. I'll be all right in a couple of days. Anyways, I got a little swollen eyeball going on, so I didn't want to distract the viewers with my weird eye.
With your Diaz eyes.
So I'm wearing shades, so I look extra cool tonight, all right?
You do look kind of cool.
And I got my awesome Daddy Pig t-shirt, so that's extra cool, too.
You kind of look like the guy from, what was it, Tom Cruise, that plane movie. What was it called? Top Gun?
Top Gun.
You kind of look like one of the villains
wears,
in that Top Gun movie.
Tom Cruise probably wears sunglasses in a lot of movies. Mission Impossible. There's a lot of movies where he's wearing sunglasses.
Not like Corey Hart, my friend. He wears his sunglasses.
These aren't just any shades. These are Versace shades, too, bro.
Are they?
Yeah, they're legit.
They're real?
Versace, yeah. They're real.
Someone's making the money at Ringside Report.
Yeah,
Yeezys,
that's right. Yeah,
Versace's.
Sure. That's right.
Baby Pig t-shirts.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, this Daddy Pig t-shirt.
Freddie, what are you wearing?
Tell you.
Game of Chokes.
Freddie's wearing his Game of Chokes t-shirt. That cost him $300.
And I'm supporting Glenn Wu, or as you call it, Glenn W.O., to our good buddy Glenn McKenzie. I know you're listening, Glenn.
So we've got some MMA to talk about. Conor McGregor's going to come back in a week. We're a week away from the return of Conor McGregor. I'm getting pretty excited about that. He's got a weird shirt out, or Reebok, I guess, has a weird t-shirt. Speaking of t-shirts, we will look at the shirt and talk about whether or not we want to buy the shirt. It's $60 US, so we'll get to that in a little bit. Jorge Masvidal's talking about Conor McGregor. Everybody's talking about Conor McGregor these days. He's fighting Donald Cerrone next weekend at UFC 246. Masvidal, potentially McGregor's next opponent. Masvidal's also talking about Georges St-Pierre, potentially fighting him. We're going to get to that.
Hashtag not cool.
Israel Adesanya is going to be fighting Yoel Romero next. That seems to be all but official. And Ryan Hall, great jiu-jitsu fighter, great UFC fighter, is looking for an opponent. And it seems like nobody wants to fight Ryan Hall. And he's calling out now Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar, some big names. So we'll see if we can figure out what's going on with Ryan Hall. And I thought about maybe talking about Mike Perry using the N-word, but after AJ's comments, I don't really trust. Fred and I had a discussion before the show, and we decided that we don't really trust AJ to talk about the Mike Perry situation.
Come on, guys.
So we're just going to avoid it altogether, okay?
Oh, I want to hear. I want to get on that topic.
Maybe during the commercial break, AJ, okay? Maybe during the commercial break, we'll read some commercials.
Come on, go live on TSN.
No, we can't do it on A. We can't put it as part of the AM radio show because that will just take us off the airwaves. The CRTC will.
Yeah, but your fans want to know, Freddie.
Do they really? Come on, it's not that big of a subject.
No, it's not a big story.
Plus,
it doesn't matter.
You need a little course on how to deal with these issues. How old are you? You look great, okay, my friend. You look great, but tell the people how old you are. You're up there. Well, I mean, these kind of subjects could be touchy for you. I'm just saying.
What are you talking about? I'm old school, man.
Yeah, exactly. So
We have no filter.
Let's just move on. Yeah, you have no filter, AJ, and sometimes that's a bad thing.
It's like, yeah.
A lot of times it's a good thing. Sometimes not too good.
It's like espresso coffee. I understand.
Okay. I don't. Did you say espresso coffee?
Espresso.
You said it's espresso though.
See.
But you said espresso.
Did I say that?
That's what it sounded like.
I don't know.
Because you're an Italian guy, I would think you would never say espresso.
I didn't say espresso.
All right,
Is it like
good,
an
good.
ex-girlfriend?
Take it easy. So Conor is going to be fighting Donald Cerrone. Is he Italian? Cerrone?
Absolutely.
That's an Italian name, right?
Italian, Donald.
Is he?
Sure, Donald's an Italian name.
But he's like
Donald
a cowboy.
Trump. Huh?
He's a cowboy.
Well, there's a lot of... Have you ever seen spaghetti westerns, Freddie?
Oh, there you go. Okay. Is that what's going on there?
I don't know, man.
Because Cerrone
But
sounds
he's
like...
American, right?
Yeah, but... Cerrone sounds like an Italian name,
he's Italian. He's Italian.
You
He's an
say
Italian
that,
cowboy.
but you're not sure if he really is.
It's
No,
one of
Cerrone's
these
an
AJ
Italian
facts.
name.
Yeah, it's
Listen,
an AJ fact.
His name is not Cerrone. It's actually Cerrone. Like Torrone. Only the Italians will know what I'm talking about.
You're going to make me go into my phone and check right now.
Check it out, man. I'm telling you.
Fred, please,
He's Italian. What do you think
please
he is?
fact check AJ. And what is Donald? Is that an Italian first name? Don.
I'm going to tell
Don,
you.
Don Cerrone.
No, listen to this. I'm going to give you a little. I'm going to let out a secret, and not too many people know this. You want to hear the cat out of the bag? Here goes. Guess what? One of my
I'm
middle.
scared.
Listen
I'm scared
to this. No.
Donald?
One of my middle names that was given to me is
Donald.
exactly.
Really?
Yeah, man. If you don't believe me, call my mother.
So your full name is Anthony Donald Cerrone
No.
Jr. D'Alessio.
Close enough.
Wow.
AJ, which is Anthony Jr.
Fred?
Donald.
Look, he might be onto something. Like, I would need to research more, but it could be like a...
What do you need, a crack team for this? I'm serious.
It might be close to the name Cherry, where it's Cerri, which is Italian, but I don't know where the Cerrone came from.
He's totally Italian.
Let's just get to MMA.
Yeah. Well, he is an underdog in his fight against the Irishman Conor McGregor.
Who's Irish?
Cerrone is a cowboy from the United States. Whether or not he has Italian ancestry is really besides the point. It doesn't really matter. But for AJ, it's like very much the point,
Absolutely,
right? Yes.
man. My Uncle Benny is probably saying, absolutely, Dave, you don't know what you're talking about. Uncle Benny, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, maybe he. Because of the name, I was the one who brought it up, Fred. It's really my fault. Because of the name Cerrone, I thought, if I knew if your name was Anthony Cerrone, I'd be like, oh yeah, you're an Italian guy. That sounds like it could be an Italian name. But you see Donald Cerrone, he's a bull rider. He's doing all these things.
I think I could give it a South American flavor, like if you pronounce it well.
Yeah, who knows?
No,
Who cares?
No, Freddie.
He's a kickboxer. He's a
No.
jiu-jitsu fighter. He's a wrestler
Totally
from
Italian.
New Mexico area.
He's a big
Denver.
underdog.
He's a big underdog. You want to put money on him. You think he's got a shot.
I'm just telling you, $20 gives me like 70 back. That's kind of interesting.
GSP said that he thinks if Cerrone takes McGregor down and uses his wrestling, that he could make this a longer fight and win. But if he stands up with McGregor, that it'll probably be a short fight for him and Conor will knock him out. That's what GSP said on a YouTube video this week. And I'm inclined to believe GSP, and I agree with that assessment of the fight. But I think Cerrone is going to stand up with him, and I think Conor is going to knock him out.
Look, the more I wait for the fight, the more I'm interested. Today I was looking, so Cerrone's considerably higher, like a height advantage. He's 6'1", and Conor is like 5'8", but Conor has the reach advantage. But at the same time, Cerrone being taller, like he has the longer limbs, like the legs and everything. So it's going to be an interesting fight. Of course, standing up, if you go by their history, you got to give the edge to Conor. I mean, he's the guy that's been knocking out a lot of people, whereas Cerrone, you don't know him that much as a power guy that's going to knock out people.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to come in with a considerable size advantage on Conor. I don't know. Maybe I don't
size, like they're both at 155. I mean, like size-wise,
No,
and the
this-
longer
no,
reach
this
goes to
is a-
Conor.
this
Conor
is a-
has a longer reach by an
Cerrone
inch.
never,
No.
ever was close to fighting at 145. Did he? Like, I'm
No.
saying that without knowing really.
No,
but
I agree with Fred. Cerrone is a bigger guy. This fight is at 170 pounds, AJ. It's not
No,
at
but,
155. They both have fought at 155 pounds. But for Conor, it was Conor going up. Cerrone went up to 170 and did well. Like, Cerrone has done well in the welterweight division. I don't think Conor's big enough to compete at 170 like Cerrone has. I think there's definitely something to Cerrone being the bigger guy. But
yeah, but he did well with Diaz. Let's not forget, right?
I think Conor is just the better fighter right now.
But you see both fights against Diaz at 170. I think both fights were at 170.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Diaz, like, okay, he lost the second one, but he was still able to take Conor's punch. So, like, can Conor really knock out Cerrone at 170? I still need to see it. Of course, we've seen Conor knock out a lot of people in his career.
Listen.
And Cerrone has been knocked
Freddie,
out also in his career. But
Yeah, that's it.
at 170.
That's it. The Diaz fight, he's a lot more durable than Donald Cerrone. Cerrone's been knocked out several times in his career. Diaz, not really.
But let's not forget, out of 21 MMA wins by Conor, 85% of those have been by knockout. Conor is a knockout artist. The first rounds are the ones where he unleashes the fury. This is where Conor fights best. If Cerrone's best chance really is grappling. His grappling game, I think he's won like half his wins by submission. Cerrone's a submission artist. There's no doubt about it. And Conor, I mean, if you've been listening to Conor, I've been listening to Dylan Dennis, and Conor's game has gotten so much better in the grappling aspect.
Dude,
and we're going to see that. I know that you're going to say the Khabib
get out of
thing.
here. No,
but,
you don't know what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to tell you, AJ. You're saying you're listening to Dylan Dennis, who's
the best jiu-jitsu grappler in the world, man.
No, he's not.
One of the best. Dylan Dennis
I'm
is
not
one of
going
the
to say
best
anything
grapplers
about
in the
him
world.
because, he's very good. He's a black belt and everything, but there are a handful of guys.
McGregor, he's not going to say anything
He's
bad.
Conor's jiu-jitsu coach, and you're like, man, Dylan Dennis is saying Conor's jiu-jitsu is great. What's he going to say? Conor's jiu-jitsu is terrible. I'm his jiu-jitsu coach?
And look,
you know what?
We all do grappling, and we were just talking about the size advantage. If anything, if it goes to the ground, I think Cerrone, who's a good grappler himself, having a little bit of a size advantage he could cause some trouble for Conor. If it goes to the ground, if anything, I think Conor could have a long night.
And we saw, Cerrone has the ability to take down some pretty big, pretty good grapplers and nullify their game. We saw him do it to Patrick Cote, right? Patrick Cote very well, right?
Right. It was his first TKO
Pat Cote
victory.
is a big guy, fought at 185 pounds, and Cerrone was able to continuously take him down and out-wrestle him. And Pat is a big, strong guy who he's a black belt now.
He's a black belt in
right?
jiu-jitsu.
Under Fabio, right?
Yep.
So, that's a tough guy, and Cerrone was able to do it to him. If Cerrone implements that game plan, we could be looking at a different kind of fight here.
But let's not forget, like, if you look at the stats, and not to take away from Pat, but Conor's takedown defense is at 70% in his fights. So let's not forget that. Cowboy has to get Conor down to the ground. And that's not going to happen. Conor's going to revert back to what he used to do. He's going to come out in the first round, and he's coming to finish Cerrone. And Cerrone hasn't been that great in his last. He lost his last two. He's lost like his last 6 out of, I think, the last 10 fights. He's not on a good streak. And to be honest, he's 36 years old. He's had a lot of wear and tear. This is his 34th fight in the UFC, and he's going up against Conor. And Conor's coming out to prove a point. And I said it. I said 2020 is going to be the return of the king, and he's going to make a statement in this fight. January 18th, mark my word, someone's getting knocked out. And I don't think it's going to be Conor.
Are you working for Team McGregor right now? Is this the Mac life? What's going on
SBG,
here?
man, thanks for the outfit. I love you.
Did they just send you a case of Proper 12?
Actually, they should, because can I just say this? First of all,
no,
the ringside,
I don't know.
No,
whenever you ask permission to say something, I'm going to say no because it's probably a bad
Fred.
idea.
Fred, hear me out on this, Dave.
Why are you saying Fred?
Because Fred is like the second in command here.
That's true.
He's the second
You
in
are
command. Fred,
last.
can I say it?
You
Thanks.
are last in command.
I am. I'm the
That's
last on the
true.
totem pole here. But hear me out. We were the first ones, and most people that are hearing this for the first time don't realize that the Ringside Report crew here, we were the first people in Canada to do a taste testing of Proper 12. We drank it. We promoted it.
Were we?
Yes, we were. We were the first ones to get it. We got it straight from Ireland.
We
I
might
think
have
we
been.
were. I
We might
think
have
we
been.
were. We were the first Canadian talk show
Connoisseurs.
of any sort to sample Proper 12 on a broadcast of any kind.
And it was excellent. It was really
We were the
good.
first. We were the first. We're number one.
We are. Before Joe Rogan. Rogan, don't take that credit because we did it first.
Oh, he's not Canadian.
It doesn't matter. In North America, even Rogan didn't have that.
I don't know. Maybe he did.
Antoinette just said like yesterday or the day before, I think I read a tweet that they finally got Proper 12 in like the LCBO in Ontario. So Proper 12 is there. Not
when
in
is
Quebec
Proper
yet.
12 coming to the SAQ?
Well, yeah.
Because we need it because we're going to be doing a UFC 246 McGregor Cerrone watch along next Saturday. So watch the pay-per-view with us starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live on the YouTube channel for the Conor McGregor Donald Cerrone fight. I'll be here. AJ will be here. Freddie will not be here. Aww.
Freddie, where are you? What are you here again?
Christmas party.
What?
Yeah.
Christmas is over, man.
Yeah, who goes to a Christmas party January 18th?
Someone trying to save money. Who is it?
Who has a Christmas party January 18th? What is this, Fred?
You know, once you get into the family life of having a wife and all that, sometimes you got to go places and you just got to watch the fight on your phone. But trust me, I'll be watching the fight on my phone.
Or else you're going to be coming in on the next show with glasses like Dave, and we know why. So, by the way, listen to this. Are we going to have any special guests?
Stop
if
pushing
Freddy's
that
not
story.
here?
It's terrible.
What happened? Any special guests?
Next week?
Yeah. Rosie Face's band. Maybe your brother.
Rosy Face's band. I
Your
think my
brother?
brother will be here.
That's good. Ben will
I
be
think
here.
possibly the guy himself, Paul Mead.
Oh, Paul. Yeah. Well, that'll be
yeah.
awesome.
My brother.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fred's
Freddie's
brother Paul.
the stand-in.
That's right. Yeah, the replacement
He's
Fred.
the stand-in. The replacement Fred.
He's Fred's stand-in. He doesn't speak really, but if you kind of put him far back enough,
I mean, he really goes
distance,
far back. At one point, he was behind the curtains.
Yeah,
I
if
think.
you put him far back at a distance, you can kind of, if you squint, it's like, is that Fred?
But the problem with him is he doesn't speak. Like, you
Yeah.
really got to force him to speak. But, hey,
That's all right.
maybe I'll bring a special guest. Can I keep it a secret till we get here?
Is it going to be Caden?
No, man. I'm talking...
Muscles Marco?
Come on.
Well,
we-
Muscles, I don't know where he is. He's in the
we all
witness
wanna
protection
meet
program. I
Caden.
have no idea where Muscles is.
Bring Caden as your special guest.
No, that's only when Freddie's here. I can't
Oh,
do
okay.
that. I can't do that with the Freddie.
All right.
That's true, actually.
Thank you, Freddie.
So we'll reveal all sorts of stuff, and we'll watch the UFC 246 pay-per-view with you next Saturday. So be sure to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment and all that, so you can click the bell as well to get the notification when we're on next Saturday for the live UFC 246 Cerrone McGregor watch-along,
It's
watching
going to
the
be
fight.
wild, man. All our watch-alongs are crazy.
All
There's
the
always
wa-
something wild that happens. I don't
Something
know.
crazy always
Something
happens. You know, it's a long show. The last one that we did, AJ, wasn't it
was-
you and me? It was you and me for like 4 hours,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
right?
Yeah,
it was
that
the
a good one.
Holloway
Yeah,
Volkanovski
that was
deal.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, we were on for like 4 hours that night.
But
That
you
was
know
a
what?
marathon.
That was too long. That
It was
went,
way
like,
too long.
That was a UFC like.
This UFC better not be another 4-hour show. Better be 3 hours here, Dana White.
Well, there was 3 championship belts going
There's
on.
only
at the same
one.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no
You know-
championship fights on this one, right?
It's a one fight that's 5 rounds, so it should be.
It should end early, but
Yeah,
the last
exactly.
one, like when we
What-
did the 4 hours, because everybody went the distance. They went to 5 rounds, and you know what? It wasn't expected, but it was a good card. At least it was exciting. You can't say it was 4 hours and you were bored, but the problem is that it did carry on, and you know it doesn't happen often. But
What else is on this card, guys? Does anybody even
Nothing
know?
much. It goes back to what we've been saying for a couple of weeks, where UFC 245 had much more like compelling fights, but
well, there's a
it's
couple.
not going to sell nowhere near what this is going to sell.
Yeah, that's it.
This Conor
No.
McGregor Donald Cerrone fight is going to be doing huge numbers, and that's the Conor McGregor effect.
That's
True,
it.
True.
Certain people in the sport, you don't really have to build a whole card around. You could just put them on the main event and sell 1 million pay-per-views just based off the name of a Conor McGregor or a Conor McGregor. Basically, right now, these days it's basically one person. You know, you had
Or just
Ronda,
Conor.
you had George for a while, but right now Conor is kind of the one person. Maybe John Jones at this point.
Masvidal.
I don't know.
Well, you know
Maybe.
what? Look, Khabib is not too far back. He's like, the Ferguson Khabib fight is going to bring in some amazing numbers. So Khabib has a big following and growing. So.
Yeah, well, Khabib's last fight against Dustin Poirier didn't do that well. Didn't do nearly as well as this Conor Cerrone fight is going to do. So, come on.
You're right. No,
come on, AJ.
I agree with you.
You know who the A side is.
I know.
It's McGregor.
Like, we talked about it on, was it last week's show or the one before when we said, like, the fighter of the decade? And that's the power of Conor. He's brought the world of sports to a different level. I mean, I think somebody was talking today, and they were like, oh, who's a better trash talker, Conor or Ali? And I'm like, man, that's a good one, because Ali was an amazing trash talker, but I think Conor took it to another level.
Different. It's hard to compare.
I don't want to compare. The rest of the UFC 246 card, you got Holly Holm, Raquel Pennington in the co-main event.
That's not a bad one.
Alexei Oleinik is taking on Maurice Green.
That could be interesting. Another
Claudia Gadelha against Alexa Grasso.
Not bad.
Anthony Pettis against Carlos Diego Ferreira.
Showtime is awesome.
And that's the pay-per-view card. Which
but that'll be a good fight.
All right. I like the main event of the prelim card, Roxanne Modafferi against Macy Barber. That's a big fight.
Macy is, yep.
Macy's on the rise.
That's the future.
Macy is 21 years old, 8-0. She looks really good. But Roxanne Modafferi, 37, she's still very tough and is a tough out. You know, she's going to be a tough fight and a real good test for Macy Barber. She's been fighting for a long time, and she's still very, very good. So
look,
that's going to be a good fight.
It's interesting because Modafferi is a name in the division, but I expect Macy Barber to win. And if anything, you say, like, Modafferi, she's tough, and yes, she is, but Macy Barber's been knocking out some people. So
yeah.
I'm going to go prediction right away, Barber by knockout. What round, like how tough Modafferi, she could probably take a good beating before she falls, but I have no doubt Barber's going to win that fight.
Yeah, I think she probably will, but I want to know how easy she's going to make it look. You know, is she going to win a decision, or is she going to knock her out in the first round? Like, I want to see what she's able to do. If she can knock her out in the first round or finish her real quick, that'll be really impressive.
You know what? I'm going with Freddie here. I think it's going to be a quick fight. You know, Modafferi is like, she's getting up in age. She's 36, like you said. I mean, she does train with an amazing team. She's training with the American Top Team. But you know what? Her days are going, and you know what? There's a new breed of female fighters that are coming. All
right. Well, we'll preview the fights a little bit more next week on the show. I want to talk about Conor McGregor's new T-shirt and the weird look there. I also want to talk about Jorge Masvidal. Is he next for Conor McGregor? Do we want to see him fight Georges St-Pierre? We will get to McGregor's weirdo T-shirt and GSP versus Masvidal when we come back. It is Ringside Report. Stay with us.
5, 4.
We're still here,
3,
by the way.
2. Hey, where did you go with my T-shirt, man? I had a nice T-shirt.
Yeah, but
popped up.
Yeah, well, I got rid of it.
Give it to me, Dave.
No.
There's a history behind that T-shirt.
Don't worry about it.
Come on, man. Dave, as usual, always throwing away my stuff. Our props. Dave, are you going to commercial?
Yeah, we're doing a commercial break.
Give me the T-shirt.
No.
What T-shirt are you talking about?
It's an American Top Team T-shirt.
Yeah, he's got
Ricardo Laborio.
It's an American Top Team T-shirt, and we don't represent for any specific MMA team here on this show. That's why I took it down.
Davey.
AG. I'm just looking for my my read here.
I mean, technically, he's wearing the T-shirt of a known BJJ coach in Montreal.
That's true.
I often wear stuff from my club.
Good point, Freddie.
I mean,
now I feel like I'm being discriminated.
But
that's
if you're gonna, if you want
discrimination,
if you want to promote a T-shirt, just wear it on you.
No, man.
I am also wearing a T-shirt from my fight team, Daddy Pig BJJ, DP BJJ.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Join my team. I'm Daddy
Glenn
Pig.
Wu.
Yeah, DP BJJ.
Where's Glenn? He should be on our show more often, like commenting. Not here exactly. Sorry, Glenn.
That guy's big time, you know.
He's actually training quite a bit lately. He's in a lot of tournaments. I got to give it to Glenn.
Let me tell you about our friends over at IP Vanish, helping you secure yourself on the internet. Folks at IP Vanish want to make it easier for you. to make yourself safe on the internet. They consistently test as one of the fastest VPNs in the industry, so you never have to worry about lag or latency. You got all sorts of new gadgets during the holidays where you need to help protect them, secure your connected devices from third-party interference. Only a secure VPN like IPVanish will truly keep your internet activity secure, especially if you use your phone or computer on public Wi-Fi hotspots like a coffee shop Wi-Fi, or when you're out in public using the Wi-Fi at some store, right? You gotta be safe
because like
you never know. Yeah. You never know who else is on that Wi-Fi network, and they could be accessing your device. So you need IPVanish to mask yourself, mask your IP. It's a great benefit for listeners and viewers of the Ringside Report network. When you establish a connection to an IPVanish server, it will mask your IP address. It's as though you're using the internet from your server's location. IPVanish is available as user-friendly software for all your devices. You've got Windows, Mac OS, Android, iOS, Fire TV. It'll work on all that stuff. If you sign up for a subscription, that'll include a 7-day money-back guarantee using our link. The Ringside Report Network will receive a small commission that'll help us produce even more content here for you. So you open another browser window right now, you keep listening, and you go to vpn.ringsidereport.net. That's vpn.ringsidereport.net to sign up today, to use that link to let IPVanish know that we sent you.
Man, that was so good, Dave. I'm telling you, every time you do it, you get better. It's incredible.
Thanks,
This
man.
guy's a pro, man.
Practice.
IPVanish. You said approved.
Stitcher.
Oh, we're
Let
back
me
to
tell you
Stitcher.
about Stitcher.
Okay.
Now, at the Ringside Report Network, we've been producing podcasts for over 15 years now, which crazy, right? Can you believe it? I'm old, guys. How long have we been doing this? It says 15
Longer
years.
than Rogan, that's
it says
for sure.
15 years in the script here, and I'm like, what?
I
Really?
mean, you started young.
I started
I was a
young.
young spring chicken back then.
You know, they gave me a radio show when I was 20 years old.
What?
I was 20 years old when they gave me a show.
Well, you know what?
Ringside Report started when I was 20 years old.
Didn't
Yeah.
Rory McDonald start like his career like at 17 or something like that?
Something
Yeah,
like that.
I'm the Rory McDonald of MMA
radio.
MMA and pro wrestling radio.
Yeah, but you were under like some of the greatest like sports radio personalities like in I guess
town.
in Canada,
Well,
because I know that like
Ever.
most people don't know Ted Teven. Did you ever listen to Ted Teven, Fred?
Of course.
Ted Teven was the best. He was the best. And Dave Simon, where most people don't know, is that Dave Simon is the protege. Dave Simon is the Ted
I wouldn't
Teven.
say that.
Well, you're the only thing that you don't have is the
He
machine
taught me
gun.
a lot.
Well,
He
you,
taught me a lot of stuff.
except
And
for
he-
the machine gun.
He helped me out.
You
He
need a machine gun.
he gave me my first job in radio.
Well, you're so
He-
lucky,
he
man.
gave me a job in radio
He
when I
wanted
was
to
like
adopt you.
18. No.
You don't talk about
But
Tropicana. You should talk about Tropicana.
Ted Teven and Gabriel Morency helped me a
Gabriel
great
is awesome.
deal when I was starting out. And they've all, Ted is no longer with us, but Gabriel remains, a guy that I hold in high esteem.
He's
I got
awesome,
great
Gabriel.
respect for the guy.
Gabriel.
I think he's top notch. He's
What's his nickname again?
a straight arrow, as Ted would say.
What's his nickname, Gabriel? You had a nickname.
Sports Rage.
No, he's Sports Rage.
Gab.
Yeah, Gab.
Gab.
He's
Great-
in Toronto now, isn't he?
He's in New York, I think.
Is he?
Fantastic guy.
Wow, he's awesome. Yeah,
Tremendous
nice
guy. Knows sports like no guy I've ever known in my life. He taught me that it's important to know everything inside out. Because if
True.
you don't, what are you good for? So I try to know everything inside out. Try to be 24/7 on this combat sports stuff, so that I'm never kind of caught in the dark.
And we
So I
need
don't-
you to be
I don't-
like that.
Yeah, you need me to be like
Because
that.
I'm not.
But yeah, because you might not be, but AJ will come out here and have all sorts of facts that are not facts. So
What
I
are you
have
talking
to,
about? My
I
facts are
have-
like 85% like factual.
I have to make sure I know the facts so that I can correct AJ and make sure that
Whoa,
we don't
there.
get sued as a show.
Listen, Gabe, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times my facts,
What did you call me?
Gabe, I'm talking about Gabe Morency. He's talking to you. I'm like talking to Gabe if he's listening to me.
Okay.
So listen to me here, Dave. Gabe, listen to me here. My facts are right. A lot of time Dave has to back check and then he's like, okay, AJ, you're right. Hey, man, of course AJ's right. AJ's 85% right.
Very rarely happens.
Which is kind of like Conor's like
85% wrong. 85% wrong. So,
who got the bagels reversed?
we digress. Many of you have been using Stitcher to either stream or download our shows, Wrestling Uncensored, Ringside Report. Now, Stitcher is offering you, the Ringside Report Network, as part of their sponsorship, a special offer on the premium version of their service. Besides all of our podcasts, you can listen to over 100,000 podcasts on your iPhone, Android, tablet, PC, Amazon Echo, device in your car, on demand, ad-free. You've got Stitcher Premium. Joe Rogan Experience is on there. Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. I listened to Grilling JR. I think that's a really good one. And, of course, all sorts of stuff, MMA fighting. You get Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, comedy albums, and more. It is $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year. But if you go to Stitcher.com/premium to sign up today and you use the promo code Ringside, that's Stitcher.com/premium, promo code Ringside, you will get a free month and it will let Stitcher know that we sent you. So Stitcher.com/premium, code word, promo code Ringside, and you get a free month when you sign up. How about it?
I love it. But there's no link on our
Take it easy,
there.
man. Take it easy.
What's up with
These
the-
are
what's
not
up
the
with
type
our-
of things that you should be pointing out. Don't
what's
worry
up with
about
the
it.
production team going on here.
AJ, if you knew anything about the production, you could comment on production. But you are totally clueless.
You saw that? You saw that clip on Twitter or wherever where there was like a fight in a fast food restaurant and some guy gave a chop a la Ric Flair and the other guy
Knocked
just,
him out.
Yeah.
No
Yes.
way.
That's what I want to do right now with AJ.
Who
He
did
licked-
that? Wasn't that BJ Penn that did that to someone?
He licked his hand and then back slapped a guy and knocked him cold. I saw that. That was
Isn't
crazy.
that think about it? Isn't that worse than getting knocked out? Getting knocked out by a slap is so much worse than just getting knocked out by a fist.
That's mean.
It's kind of like insulting at the same time.
That's great.
And especially if you're on YouTube after that, a million hits later, man.
I remember
what do
you remember when Chappelle's show came out and Rick James came out, right? And Rick James, he had this thing where he'd take baby powder in the Chappelle show skit, right? He'd take baby powder, he'd put it in his hand, and he'd be like, "What does 5 fingers say to the face?" And he'd be like, "What? Slap!" Right? And he would slap a guy, and the baby powder would go flying. It was hilarious. So I saw that, and I was like, I'm going to start doing that. So I was slapping kids at school. It was bad.
That's not cool, man. That's bullying, man.
No,
What the heck?
it was a joke, because you had baby powder in your hand. I brought baby powder and everything. What did 5 fingers say to the face? Slap! And I was slapping my friends. It was fine.
I think the best
We
one,
had a good time. It was fine.
what was that?
Don't try this at school, kids.
What was that video from wrestling? There was some wrestler that nailed a guitar off of what's his name from the Howard Stern show. Do you remember seeing that one?
Oh, Jeff Jarrett hitting Beetlejuice.
That was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best.
yeah.
I watch that clip every time I'm like down and out. I look at that clip, man, and it brings me back to life. Funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm telling you, if you've never seen it, Dave, you should put it on, man. That's the funniest clip ever.
Every time I'm down
Beetlejuice.
and out, I watch Jeff Jarrett hit Beetlejuice over the head with a chair.
And I'm back, man. Like over the rainbow, I'm back. Have you seen it, Freddie? Have you seen it? It's the funniest thing in the world. It's like slap nuts. Slap
Yeah,
nuts.
Come on, you haven't seen this?
Come on, Freddie. Guys, watch
see,
this,
can I
man.
get it up
Remember,
here?
you're going to thank me. AJ, you're going to say, AJ, you know what? You woke me up. I was down and depressed. I was listening to your show. And then, you know what? You're always going to remember. Hashtag slap nuts.
I don't
Come
know
on,
if we
Dave.
can get it. Hold on. Let me see.
Come on, man. The viewers are waiting.
Let's see. It's like up here. There it is.
Can you put the volume up?
No, there's no volume. Bam! Bam!
Oh, my.
You like that, AJ?
Look how he goes down. Superman.
You ever seen AJ lose it like this, Fred?
I'm telling
He
you.
can't contain himself. Take that, slap nuts. Boom!
Because I'm thinking it's probably one of the angles WWE might regret. You
No,
know,
that was
right?
WCW.
WCW?
Yeah.
Well, then.
See, it says Nitro there in the corner.
Look how he goes, man. That was awesome. Beetlejuice down. I wonder if he got hurt because he didn't get up after that.
How about
Poor
talking into your
Beetlejuice.
mic once in a while?
How am I talking? Like, Beetlejuice. Howard Stern is the best.
Beetlejuice is my favorite whackpacker by far.
gonna tell you,
Are
I
you
gotta-
a Howard Stern listener though?
Listen,
You're not though.
I saw him on Ellen. What's her name? Ellen DeGeneres,
And-
which I love that show.
No,
by
you
the way.
didn't. You
I
didn't-
love Ellen DeGeneres. Howard Stern came on as a guest, and he was awesome.
I thought you saw Beetlejuice on Ellen. I was like, what? No,
Why
you
not?
didn't.
I'd love to see. Why don't we get Beetlejuice here? It'd be so funny.
Yes.
We could go out with Beetlejuice, me, Muscles Marco, Johnny North, and Beetlejuice out on the town. Howard Stern, set it up. That'd be awesome, man.
I would
I'll
love
take
that.
Beetlejuice on the town.
I'm a big Howard Stern fan. I listen to him almost every day.
He's a really smart guy, man.
Yeah,
I
his shows are
really,
great.
Like, the guy's awesome.
I was listening to his interview with Alec Baldwin just today.
What? He's still around, Alec Baldwin?
Yeah,
Isn't he doing the Trump stuff and all that kind of stuff?
I think so. I think he still does that, doesn't he? I don't watch that show. Saturday Night Live, that's more your generation, isn't it,
Listen,
AJ?
isn't Eddie Murphy back or something like that? Who's back?
I think Eddie Murphy hosted the show like a couple weeks ago or something.
Eddie Murphy, man. That guy there. He doesn't age. He's taking something because I don't know what it is, but that man doesn't age. And the
Yeah.
best what was it? Coming to America 2 is coming out. He announced that, so that's going to be amazing.
I don't like Eddie Murphy.
Come on, Dave. You don't like anybody.
I like a lot
Dave's
of people.
too young. That's the problem.
How can you not
That-
like Eddie Murphy?
Eddie Murphy's our generation. Dave just doesn't understand.
Man, oh man.
It
I don't
just shows you how young he is.
I don't think he's that funny.
What do you like? Jim Carrey?
Not really.
What? He's Canadian, Dave.
I like Dave
Blasphemy.
Chappelle. I watched Dave Chappelle accept
Dave
the
Chappelle's
Mark
good.
Twain Award. I watched that on PBS.
Kevin Hart? Isn't
You
it,
see
like,
that?
awesome?
Dave Chappelle accept this big Mark Twain prize.
No, I didn't know.
Well,
Where?
that was a deal this week. Chappelle won this big award.
But where was it being hosted?
It was on PBS.
Isn't that like a Vermont channel? PBS? Isn't where
It's-
they had Bob the
Public
painter there?
broadcast.
Isn't that Bob
Yeah,
the painter that was on that
system, What is it?
You never watch PBS? Why am I asking
I was gonna
you?
say a good joke
Why am
there,
I
but I'm
asking
holding
you?
back.
Of course
I know
not.
PMS, but I don't know PBS.
There are many shows that I enjoy on PBS. I like to watch American Masters. I was watching an American Masters on, what's that guy's name? He put everybody in jail for the communism. Mick, whatever.
OJ.
Oh, man, I watched the whole thing on him. Now I can't come up with his name. You don't know who
That
I'm
way
talking about?
That's a really good PBS.
Ah.
I like watching like
Oh, come on. Somebody help me out. What was the guy's name? He put everybody in communism.
you're talking about Fidel Castro.
Karl Marx.
No.
Jackie Chan, what?
No. Jail. Oh, come
Pinochet.
on.
In what country?
The United States.
United States.
Yeah, McCarthy.
Oh.
Joseph
McCarthy.
Joseph McCarthy. Thank you. You guys don't know? When I say Joseph McCarthy,
Yeah, I
it
know who
doesn't-
he is.
You know what
now.
I'm talking
I wasn't
about.
listening to what you were saying earlier.
Okay,
That's
well,
all.
I was watching a whole American something on Joseph McCarthy. That was interesting. I watch PBS, AJ, okay? I watch Nova sometimes. I watch Frontline. You don't watch PBS ever? You never watch
I like
anything on
watching
PBS?
like Netflix.
Come on, man.
stuff,
Ken Burns has a
documentary.
bunch of documentaries there.
There you go. Freddie knows what I'm talking about.
Baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah. I
The
see
Field of Dreams.
I see people on the chat wondering why I'm wearing the shades. If you missed the announcement earlier in the show, huh?
My girlfriend also.
Yeah,
says
she wants to know
Oh.
why I got shades. It's because I got like an eye injury. I got like a thing with my eye. Look, my eye's all busted up.
His wife beat him up.
No, that's not what happened. I got like a sty or something in my eye. I went to a doctor. She said put some hot stuff
Slap
on it
nuts.
and I'll be all right.
No.
But I didn't want to distract everybody with my ugly eye.
Dave,
you know?
who gave you the same
Look
advice?
at that. I look
The
terrible.
The beginning of the show was
Look at
your
that.
doctor gave you
Come on.
advice.
I can't be on
and-
the show looking like this, so I got to put the shades on,
Listen,
all
man,
right?
I gave the same advice to
Next
him. AJ
week-
gave the same advice. He
Next
wasted
week
2
I won't
hours.
have the shades on, but just this week, like, I don't know. I got a thing with my eye. Sorry, everybody. Jeez. These are Versace shades, though. Come on.
You look pretty cool, man.
I look pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, but Dave, you're not giving me any compliments here or
Why
credit.
Why would I give you
Fred.
compliments?
You heard me. You're witness,
Dr.
man.
AJ.
Yeah,
Freddie heard.
Yeah.
I gave you the same advice as that doctor that you wasted like Canadian taxpayer Medicare card for.
Shut up, dude. I was there for like 10 minutes with it. 5
10
minutes.
minutes?
No,
You know how
not
much that
even.
costs? About $500.
I was there 5 minutes with a doctor.
At least $250.
Well, in the U.S., it would be like $250.
Yeah,
Thank you,
well,
Freddie.
it
Thank
was
you,
free.
Freddie.
American dollars.
It was free. It just cost me 2 hours of my
you
time.
Just bring me a box of Kit Kats and it'd be okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, when I go to a doctor, I actually believe the advice because, you know, she's a doctor. When I go to you, it's like you're just a guy who I know.
Yeah, but I gave you the same thing.
You
Take
gave
a
me the
tea
same
bag,
advice.
Put it on,
Yeah.
and it's gone in 2 days.
So next time I'll listen to you. Next time.
Yeah, exactly.
AJ, I had a heart attack. Look, put some tea bags on your heart. You'll be okay. It's fine.
You're depressed? No problem. Just look at Slapnuts and you're cured.
Yeah. Damn. All right.
Beetlejuice.
Should we get back to the show and this
Oh, it's
stupid?
still on. I thought we were on TSN.
No, let's get back to the
This
the
can't
Conor
be on
T-shirt.
TSN.
No.
Hey,
I mean, it
And
could
actually,
be.
I want to dissociate myself from everything AJ says.
what
as
are you
far
talking
as
about, Freddie? Hey,
What?
buddy.
Does
We
he
just
want to?
had-
Does he want to make a cameo? Open a door. It's a.
Hey, Cameo.
Does he want to make a
Dave
cam?
Simon
We're on
wants to show
commercial break.
Dave Simon wants to show Little Piggy. Come in.
The big man just burst in.
Come in here, buddy.
All right,
Ladies and gentlemen,
The main man's gonna
for
make a
your
cameo real
viewing
quick. All
pleasure,
right.
We've
Get in
got
here.
the boss of the show, Little Big Boss, Little Big Boss.
Come here, little big boss.
Dave's.
Whoa.
Here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, drum roll.
Oh, he just shook everything up too. No. There we go.
There we go. Here we go.
Come here.
Here we go. Here we go. What is this? What is this? The boss of the house. The big man, Little Zevy.
But AJ, when are you gonna present your son?
Quiet, Freddy.
Here's the big man. What's up, big man? What do you got to say?
I was gonna say,
What are you gonna say?
I am not big man.
What?
I am Cesaro.
What?
You're Cesaro.
No,
Who are you?
I'm little.
You're Steve Austin.
Oh, my name is Sunday. Austin. Not broke.
Who's stronger, Zevy? Johnny North or Hulk Hogan? Johnny North versus Hulk Hogan. Who's gonna win that match?
I don't know. Maybe Hulk Hogan can
Oh.
win the match.
Hulk Hogan?
Johnny, sorry, man.
All right. All right. Go back to mama.
Oh,
See you
why,
later,
man? This
Zebby.
is awesome.
No. I need
Hey, Zevy, what does AJ say? What does AJ say? What does AJ say?
What does he say? All right. I'll see.
Oh,
No, I need to back.
he wants to be back.
Yeah. Well, we gotta keep doing MMA talk, bro.
Bye, Zevy. Good night. Good
You
night.
see, unfortunately, my
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you get when you don't pay your child enough. Bye, Zevy. Love you.
he wants to steal all our spotlight.
Man, you know what? The kid
We
is
got to
so
cut
cute.
his airtime because he's gonna steal all our fans.
He will,
He
man.
just burst into the studio. You know, he wants to get camera time.
That's
So what
this-
can I say?
That's the future of Ringside Report right there.
Yeah.
That kid knows every line, every wrestling line you can imagine. He knows it, man. He said Steve Austin. He knew.
Yeah, he knows all the guys.
He knows everybody.
All right.
But
that
for
was
poor
fun.
Johnny North, man. Sorry, Johnny.
That was a little treat for you get to see the cutest member of the show.
He is. Definitely is.
Cuter than us.
Oof.
Although AJ's giving him a run for his money over there. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. All right, let's get back to the show, you bastards.
Slap nuts.
All right.
Are we back?
Oh, yeah. Welcome back. It is Ringside Report. I'm Dave Simon. He's AJ DeLesio. Freddie Garcia is here. www.ringsidereport.net is where you want to go. If you're listening to us on the radio, if you're listening to us on a podcast, you definitely want to watch this show. You miss a lot during the commercial breaks. We have so much happening all the time during the show, right?
Gets crazy, man.
We do commercial breaks, and we even have special guests during the commercial breaks. We had my
Yeah.
son on
Little
the show
Zevy.
for like a moment there during the commercial. So he was on the YouTube show. So yeah, that's right. I'm using him to plug the YouTube. That seems wrong. I don't know. We talked about
Nope.
we talked about other stuff, didn't we? What did we talk
No,
about
we
during the
talked about all
commercial?
kinds of stuff.
Well, we
talked about-
forgot to talk about Mike Perry, which probably
Oh,
means we're not
yeah.
going to touch that subject.
That's
too
cool.
bad.
Let's keep AJ far
What?
away from that.
Freddie, now you bring it up.
Let's talk about Conor McGregor's weirdo T-shirt. I don't know if we can blame Conor for this. I think we should mostly blame Reebok. It is a terribly ugly design.
looks like a 40-year-old, 50-year-old McGregor who's like on his 7th comeback.
Look,
it's really ugly.
Dave, we got like
And-
some pretty funny comments on
Like, look,
online.
his-
One says he looks like Sheamus.
He does look like Sheamus from the WWE. Why are his fists and arms so gigantic on this T-shirt? They're promoting these Reebok Zig shoes, but the logo makes it look like he's advertising for rolling papers. Like, doesn't it look like zigzag there?
Well,
Doesn't
it does
it?
say Zig at the bottom
Doesn't
there.
the Zig logo kind of look like? Why is Conor McGregor like selling zigzags now? It's kind of weird. So he's got that Zig logo at the bottom of the T-shirt. He's shirtless, but he's wearing a watch and pants.
Not too sure about the background either. Like, what is it? Like some 80s, 70s?
I don't know
It
what
kind
that
of looks like, honestly, it looks like rolling paper or cigarettes or what is that?
It looks like
Or like Pac-Man?
No,
or
it looks
what
like
is that?
It looks like a brick wall to me, kind of like a stylized brick wall.
But you know what he really
Anyways.
looks like? If you take Popeye and you take Bruce Lee and you animate them together and throw in Burt Reynolds, that's what you got right there. You've got the Reebok like
This
Reynolds.
shirt is a mess for so many reasons. First of all, it's way too busy, okay? There's the UFC logo up top, which I don't like. I don't like this UFC logo on the
Where?
shoulder.
No, I kind of like that. That's not
No,
so
because
bad.
it's too much. It's too much logo. Look, there's
I
a
would cut other
would-
things first.
Look,
Really?
I would cut the UFC logo on top. I would cut the Reebok logo because it looks stupid. I would also cut this other UFC logo at the bottom of the shirt. There's too much going on. There's too many logos. You wind up looking like a NASCAR driver. And the design, I mean, the design itself is just terrible of Conor McGregor with his stupid look. It's just... it's a bad T-shirt,
but it's
and
not
they're selling
Conor's
it.
fault.
They're selling it for $60 US on the UFC website plus shipping. So no one's gonna get it in Canada, anyways. I mean, who's gonna pay for that for this shirt unless it's kind of a joke? I mean, it's a
Not
bad
really.
shirt, and people were talking about it this week. I saw the shirt, and I was like, yeah, it's bad, but it's not like the UFC has been making nice shirts with Reebok. All this stuff that they're making has been trash. I'm not buying any of this stuff.
But wait
all
a
right?
sec.
Most of the stuff is bad. There was one Nate Diaz shirt that I really liked that they made. I bought that, and I think that was it.
Look, you know what? I was reading online.
You have that Nate Diaz shirt too, right, Fred? Like,
that
I
was
like
good.
T-shirts, you know? I like to buy T-shirts, okay? And I like sportswear. I'm very much into sportswear. Adidas, Nike, stuff like that. Reebok, you're slipping.
Yeah, but wait.
Reebok is just not in the game. It's not the
But
UFC's
Dave,
fault. It's Reebok's fault specifically. This is less of a MMA thing and more of a fashion thing where Reebok is just so far behind the game. Like, you think about sneakers, it's Nike and Adidas. Those are the only two companies that matter in the sneaker game right now. Reebok is just a non-entity, and the fact that the UFC is partnered with Reebok is one of the reasons why their gear is so weak. If they were partnered with Nike or Adidas, the stuff would be nicer.
Even Under Armour does better stuff.
Oh,
than-
yeah.
Yeah.
The Rock stuff with Under Armour is nice. I like that
but
stuff.
whoa,
Reebok
hold on
is
a
down
sec.
there with Skechers.
But
like.
wait a sec. Isn't Reebok like a parent company?
If you're
to
wearing
Adidas?
Reebok, you might as well be wearing Skechers.
Yeah, but Dave, Reebok
if you're
is.
wearing Reebok, you better check yourself.
Yeah, but
That's
wait.
right, Dana.
But it's part of Adidas, man. It's like a parent company to
Adidas
Adidas.
owns Reebok, but it just shows you what Adidas thinks of the UFC. They're like, you're kind of a B-level entity. We're going to give you a B-level brand like Reebok. Adidas could have been like, yeah, we're going to join up with Adidas.
No, man.
We're going to have UFC fighters wearing Yeezys. But
Yeah.
instead, they're like, nah, you got to buy your Yeezys, UFC fighters.
Like
we might hook you up with a deal, you know, but...
AJ wants to sell Reebok. Tell me what else that does Reebok sponsor that's big? Because when I think Adidas, I think of all these soccer stars, whether it's Ronaldo, Real Madrid.
Yeah,
like
but think about it. Look,
And
no,
Nike's
no,
got
no.
basketball, so many, great
Yeah, but
basketball.
think about
LeBron James, right?
But look, you've got Conor McGregor.
Kyrie's got a
McGregor.
big shoe. Kyrie, right? I don't know
But
basketball.
Dave, you got
but
Conor
I know
McGregor.
shoes. You know what I mean?
He knows shoes.
I don't know basketball, but I know sneakers. I know Kyrie's got a big shoe.
But Dave, hear me out, guys. You've got Conor McGregor, one of the biggest names in sports,
And an
along with
ugly t-shirt.
Ronaldo. And you know what? You're right, Freddie. You've got a name like that. Like, there should be no reason why Adidas is not like backing somebody like Conor. This guy is the most recognized
Because
athlete in the world.
Reebok has a UFC
I understand,
deal, man.
but
What do you mean?
it's a parent company of Adidas.
Yeah, but they're not going there.
You know what? Like Reebok's creativity, and I was reading this, it's lacking. That department is lacking. Somebody says like they're doing too many smoking too much like reefers or whatnot. They're not getting creative enough.
Again,
man.
this was an AJ opinion.
Listen, this
Yeah.
is not my opinion.
Not a
This
TSN, not a Fred, not a
Not,
Dave.
not a Dave opinion, certainly,
listen,
because
they
some
need
some
to-
would argue that the reefers may enhance the creativity
So then
for
they
some
need
people.
to start smoking more. Whatever it is, they need to
Oh,
be
so
creative.
before it was because they were smoking
either
too
or.
many reefers, which I love the term, and now you're saying they should be smoking more reefers.
Well, maybe
What
if you
type
tell
of,
me you're
what
more
type of
creative.
doctor are you?
Yeah, what do you know about
Dr.
the
Seuss or
reefers?
Dr. Phil,
What do you
along
know
those
about
lines?
the reefers that Reebok is smoking? Where are you getting this information about Reebok reefers?
Well, actually, that would make a good name when you think
That would
about
be
it.
a great promotion.
That would be a
like-
great
there
shoe.
We go. We
The
just
Reebok-
made it
Reebok-
creative.
Yo.
Let's get to the next level.
Yo, Reebok, you need to hire me, okay? I can do for Reebok what Kanye did for Adidas. We're gonna start making some fresh shoes. We're gonna make the Reebok Reefer. It's gonna be all hemp. It's gonna be green, but it's gonna be green and like crystally because we're gonna put some of the 3M in there.
That's
I'm
cool,
telling you,
man.
people. I know sneakers. I could help you, Reebok. I could help your designs with your T-shirts. Somebody needs to hire me to be a fashion designer, man.
Bravo, Dave. Bravo. Sold.
I need
Sold.
to stop doing this MMA radio stuff and be a fashion designer for a sportswear company. That's where my talents really lie. I'm
It's
telling
actually
you.
pretty good, I must
I'm
admit.
telling
This is
you.
what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to send it to Reebok and I'm going to be like, get your creative team out of there because they're destroying the UFC with clown-ass designs by mixed between Popeyes and Bruce Lee, squishing them together and making Conor look like Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
That is not cool.
I'm telling
Nobody's
you,
gonna wear
man.
that. I'm old school. I won't wear that. Freddie's middle school. He ain't going to wear that.
Well, I'll tell you
Dave
what,
is young
if they
school,
wanna
and he's
sell us-
definitely not wearing that.
Reebok's got a nice logo. Their logo is nice.
Yeah, it
they
is.
just
It's
don't
nice.
use it right.
Actually, if Reebok sends me that T-shirt, I'll wear it on
Would
the
you,
show.
Freddie? You
Of
know,
course.
I'll wear it on the
Yeah.
show, but it's you're not
If
going to wear it in
Reebok
public.
gives me free stuff,
on, we love
I'll
you,
wear
Reebok.
it.
No, I like
But
it.
like,
Yeah.
I would like to. I'd like it to be nice, and I would rather Adidas send me free stuff because then I'll wear it and be happy
Well,
about
you're
it.
wearing Adidas right now.
Exactly, and I paid for this. It wasn't free. You know,
Well, sometimes we do get free stuff.
I have
free stuff
I got
from
a
some
pair.
of our sponsors.
I got a pair of Reebok zigzag shoes for free years ago.
Zigzag. Wasn't that Adidas?
No, it's Reebok. It's what Conor's promoting. They're bringing them back. Those like zigzaggy bottom shoes. I had a pair that I got from Reebok, and the only reason I would ever wear them or have them is because I got them for free. And they were pretty damn comfortable, I will say. But they look weird. Like, they were comfortable, but like Adidas Ultra Boosts are more comfortable, and I like those
So-
shoes way better because they look cooler. The Reebok zigzag shoes look super weird, and Conor McGregor has these new shoe release. They're trying to push, but nobody's going to buy Conor's shoes because they look stupid.
You see, during the commercial break, we were talking about like you're too young to appreciate Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Dave.
So I got this question for you: are you too young to appreciate the Reebok pump?
Reebok pump.
Yeah, I mean...
Wasn't that an 80s thing?
Yeah, don't
It's-
you
it's
remember?
not-
Yeah.
No.
But I was wearing probably clogs. I mean, that was way back. But
Clogs?
anyways,
How
you wouldn't
old-
know.
Are you Dutch? What's going on?
Reebok clogs.
Nah, Reebok pumps aren't really... I mean, I know what they are, but like,
You
I'm
pump
not
it
trying
up,
to wear
Dave.
them.
You gotta
I
pump
never
it up.
had a pair.
Everybody wanted them back in the days.
Yeah. I remember LA Gears with the light up sneakers. Those were the ones I really liked when I was a
I
kid.
think Shaq was
Early
with-
90s. Remember LA Gear? They had like light up red on the back. That was crazy.
See, I think Shaq was with Reebok because he had the pump like brand.
Maybe.
What do you have, like a size 26 shoe or something like that?
All
It
right.
was huge. I saw it.
So
one time in New
Back
York.
to MMA.
nobody is buying Conor's T-shirt. This UFC Reebok deal needs to end, not only because the fighters are getting no money, but because the stuff is terrible. And the UFC store is terrible. Everything's overpriced, and the shipping is ridiculous. International fans cannot get anything. Canadian fans cannot get anything from the UFC store. I would love to buy UFC T-shirts for my friends here, you know.
Yeah, come on.
But I just look at it. I'm like, man, I'm gonna wind up spending, $90 to $100 on a T-shirt, and I'm just like, I'm not doing that. It's ridiculous. It's stupid.
Big time. Tell me the truth.
And
Do you
this
think
Conor McGregor T-shirt is $60 US.
it's ridiculous?
So like you buy it as a Canadian, it's gonna cost you like $100 with shipping and everything at the end of the day. Which like, who's paying $100 for a T-shirt?
Look, I'm going to tell you this. Do you think Conor's going to walk out with this T-shirt? Like, they made it for him.
And they're not even like high quality, super nice T-shirts. You know, I mean, the
Not like these
design
Glen Wu ones.
the
These are
design
nice.
isn't even nice, and the quality on these Reebok shirts. Like, I have that Nate Diaz shirt.
Yeah,
I
that's
bought
what
that.
I was gonna say.
The quality on those shirts are not that good. It like shrunk. It got all small, and like they're not even good T-shirts that last long.
And I'm going to use this moment to promote the WWE T-shirt. Those T-shirts are great. I got these Sergeant Slaughter T-shirts. I've washed them so many times, but the logo's still there. And it looks old, but the logo's still there, so I don't want to get rid of it.
WWE shirts, WWE shop is way better than the UFC store. I've been saying it for years. The UFC is missing out on the merchandising aspect of their business in a major way. Their fans will buy shirts, and WWE knows that their fans will buy shirts, and they sell those shirts, and the shipping isn't that bad, and the prices, they have it in Canadian dollars, and it's not that bad, and they always have sales. You go to WWE shop, there's always a sale, one sale or another. Every single day, there's stuff on special, there's a sale, there's 25% off for this, 50% off for that, buy one, get one free. The UFC store never has any of that stuff. Nothing's ever on sale. It's way too expensive. Nobody's buying it. And you don't see people walking around in UFC shirts. And, you know, you could believe it or not, but when you see people walking around wearing a UFC shirt, that's advertising for your company, and it makes people say, oh, yeah, the UFC. Oh, hey, cool, Conor McGregor shirt. Oh, that's new. Is Conor fighting? Oh, maybe I'll buy the pay-per-view. You know, these things help your business, and the UFC still hasn't figured that out. Still. And it baffles me that their T-shirt business is so terrible when the WWE is so brilliant at it. They do such a good job. When there's a new WWE T-shirt for something, you'll see people walking around everywhere with that shirt because it's accessible. But when there's a new T-shirt from the UFC, it's not accessible. I go to that Reebok store downtown. There's one official Reebok store downtown Montreal. There's never UFC stuff there.
Doesn't make sense.
You can't even buy the stuff in the Reebok store. You have to order it online, and then you're paying US dollars. It's overpriced, and it's crazy shipping. Like, it's ridiculous.
You see, the UFC is a sport full of individuals, so the UFC should be willing to promote these individuals and make them bigger stars. It's not like they're not like the NFL where, you know, you're going to buy a T-shirt because you love this team. I love the Patriots. I love the Raiders. I'm going to buy a Raiders jersey. No, it's about the stars that you have in your business. So the UFC needs to promote these guys, and T-shirt would be a great business, a great way.
But Freddie, think about this. Like in the early days of like MMA and the UFC, I mean, Affliction was like one of the biggest names in MMA. And I remember everybody was wearing
But that's
Affliction.
not the same thing. That's an Affliction T-shirt. I'm talking about T-shirt representing your fighters. You know, have a Cowboy Cerrone, like have a bunch of Cowboy Cerrone T-shirts with different designs.
I agree with you, but that's what I was trying to get with Affliction. I'm just saying is that MMA fans will wear brands as long as it looks good, feels good, and it's easily accessible. Affliction was all over the place. And it doesn't make sense. And you bring up a good point. Like the WWE is a billion-dollar business,
Affliction,
but the UFC...
Affliction is a good point. Those T-shirts were overpriced.
Yeah,
okay?
but they were nice quality, man.
But they were good quality. They lasted a while. They were good, nice shirts.
Even Head Rush back in the days. Like they
Head
still had
Rush.
some nice ones. I bought a couple, I remember.
They still exist.
Yeah, but they're not with the MMA. Like you see, I'm a fan. I remember, I think it was a Dustin Poirier when I bought from Head Rush. I'm like, oh, I like Dustin Poirier. He's a young up-and-coming fighter. His design is nice. I was in Toronto, I think, at a UFC when they had like the big expo and all. And I go, oh, let me buy this shirt.
Yeah, MMA T-shirts used to be a thing. People used to wear tap-out shirts and Affliction shirts. Korean Zombie shirts. Like all sorts of shirts. You had MMA T-shirts. That's not a thing anymore, and it's because of the Reebok deal with the UFC. Reebok has killed the MMA t-shirt business, and the UFC has done nothing to pick it up. But I guess because they're getting so much money from Reebok anyways, it doesn't really matter if they sell the shirts.
But you know what? Maybe there will be a change. I mean, after that Conor shirt, where I've never seen so many comments online talking how ugly this T-shirt is.
People
maybe
have
they'll
had
start
enough.
to listen. Yeah,
They've
and
had
start
enough of
realizing.
these ugly, overpriced shirts. It's like, get it together, UFC. We want good shirts.
I mean, the production of a T-shirt is probably like $2 or $3. Like, let's
Yeah,
be
man.
honest. Like, you could have a 2-for-1 sale once in a while. Sell me 2 T-shirts for $30. You're still making a good amount of money.
They,
I don't want to turn this into math class. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Anyways, it's enough about us complaining about the price of T-shirts on the UFC store, but it's really like, come on.
Dana.
It's cheaper for me to buy like a New Japan Pro Wrestling T-shirt and have it shipped from Japan than it is for me to buy a UFC T-shirt and have it shipped from the United States. It makes no sense,
But look,
right? It doesn't make sense.
But look at it as a good example, like the jiu-jitsu, like I guess community. I mean, they'll buy anything to do with jiu-jitsu, like Freddie's game of chokes.
Course.
I mean, it's like massive. I've got my OS, which is by guard players. These guys make good quality stuff. What I'm saying is it doesn't make sense, and you're right. With the UFC, like not capitalizing on like really that market where they're promoting the fighters and being out there. Because every time I see a UFC shirt, it's like rare, and I'm like, ooh, that's pretty cool.
Like, you
But
don't
it's-
see people
it's
walking
rare.
around with a George Masvidal shirt. You don't see people walking around with Conor McGregor shirts. The reason is they're not accessible.
I want to wear a Georges St-Pierre shirt, but I can't find it.
I
Yeah,
don't-
exactly. Imagine that. We live in Montreal, and we can't find GSP T-shirts. Like, what is that?
And I don't want to prolong this discussion, but just look, you got a nice New Day cup. He has a nice Austin cup. Like, there's much more than T-shirt. You use merchandise as a promotion tool, period.
Yeah, exactly.
but
and
that's
I'm
common
promoting
sense.
the WWE right now just because I'm drinking coffee on this YouTube show with a New Day mug.
Is
you
it
know?
coffee, Dave?
It is coffee. You know it's coffee. You're drinking the same thing. All right. So
Might be a
George
little
Masvidal.
extra.
George Masvidal wants to fight Georges St-Pierre. Is that a good idea?
Yes.
Well, for George Masvidal, is it a good idea?
Yes.
He makes tons of money, but probably gets beat up by GSP, right?
Pretty much.
Everybody gets beat up by GSP.
For GSP, does it make sense for him to come back? I think that's more of the issue because George Masvidal is the one talking about GSP saying, I want to fight him, bring him out of retirement, then send him back to retirement. Would it make sense for GSP to come back and fight this guy?
What's your criteria? If it's money, yes, it would, because I'm of the opinion right now that George Masvidal is probably, after McGregor, the biggest draw in the UFC right now. He has a following on the mainstream, and I see him as a guy that's hot right now. So if you're GSP and you want a fight that's about making money, yes, Jorge Masvidal makes a lot of sense. Now, with that said, some people might be like mad that GSP comes back not for a title fight. I mean, like, if GSP is gonna come back, can he come back for Habib or for Usman? That would, of course, make more sense for GSP. But if it's about money, Masvidal is the guy that's gonna give him the most money there.
But is it about money? He's talked about legacy. He's talked about fighting for a
Masvidal is not
championship.
about legacy.
Well, that's it. Like, Georges St-Pierre has talked about fighting for legacy and fighting for something that'll solidify him as one of the greatest, if not the greatest ever, like fighting for a championship in a third weight division and winning that, right? Like, people have been double champions in 2 different weight classes, but no one has ever been in 3. GSP has been a 170-pound champion, the king, the greatest fighter at welterweight of all time. He became the 185-pound champion when he beat Michael Bisping in his comeback fight, and he could potentially become the 155-pound champion if he fought, you know, Khabib Nurmagomedov or Tony Ferguson or whoever wins that thing. You know, George wanted to fight Khabib partially for the challenge of Khabib, but also because he wants to be the UFC lightweight champion. He thinks he can become that champion. George Masvidal doesn't help him do that. It's a fight. It's a fight that makes money. It's probably a fun fight, but I don't think George St-Pierre is going to take that fight because other than the BMF title, you know, George doesn't really win any kind of belts off of that, and I don't think George is looking to be the BMF champion. George, he's
But George
he's,
is not
he's
a BMF
Is he
guy.
looking at
he's
legacy
a
or
gentleman.
money? Let's
he's
be
a
honest.
gentleman, MF. Give him the gentleman title,
But let's be honest. Is George about legacy or about making money? And maybe he is about legacy. But if I'm Georges St-Pierre, I'm about big fights. If I'm coming back for a fight, it's about the one that's going to give me the most money. And look, Khabib is definitely more prestigious. I don't think it sells as much as Masvidal. Masvidal right now is the huge star, so...
Yeah, but Masvidal, all he wants is that big payout. That's the thing, and he can only get that with these big names like George, with Khabib, with Conor. The thing is that he's gonna get one of those three at some point. There's no doubt about it. But George wants to come and get that legacy fight, and you were right. We talked about that weeks ago. They need to make a title. He's not a BMF guy at all, George. He's the nicest guy title fight, and there's not going to be too many. Him, maybe Anderson Silva, who knows?
Wonderboy Thompson.
Wonderboy Thompson. The thing is
Sage
that
Northcutt.
Sage Northcutt. Hopefully he
there
comes
should
back
be
at some
one
point.
also for the smiling people, like Smiling Sam Alvey
Smiling
and,
Sam.
and
You know-
Sergio Moraes.
But George St. Pierre and Jorge Masvidal, George Masvidal, doesn't make sense. I don't think that fight is gonna happen.
It's not going to happen. But like I said with Freddie,
It would make a ton of money, but I don't think GSP wants it.
But like I
Probably
said,
not.
No, but again, like I said a couple of weeks ago, if they create a legacy title, like you were saying, Fred, or a master title, that will be the reason why Conor would come back. George would come back and fight someone
George
like
is
Anderson
not.
Silva.
No, George
That's
is still
a money
fighting
fight.
the elite. George is not at a point in his career where he's fighting people that are, done. He's still fighting the elite. If George's coming back, it's to fight somebody that matters. He's not coming back to fight a Sonnen or whatever.
No, but listen, that's an optional fight. Like
elite.
He's not fighting
elite.
BJ Penn. But actually, like if he's fighting Nick Diaz, I'm not considering that the elite. So I'll just throw that out.
Are we talking about the Young Bucks? You kept talking about the elite. I got
No,
distracted.
I don't watch.
My head is in pro wrestling sometimes. I get a little confused. Sorry, Fred.
Come
Sorry.
back to the light, Dave. Come back to the light.
Okay, how about Ryan Hall?
Ryan Hall,
he's
man.
saying people don't want to fight him, and everybody's avoiding him at 145 pounds, and he wants to fight Jose Aldo or Frankie Edgar, and now he's going to be fighting Pedro Munoz. That's the latest
That's like hot
news.
off the press.
That's fresh news that we just got here. So it'll be Pedro Munoz taking the fight against Ryan Hall. That'll be a fun
at
fight.
UFC 249. So that would be
Nice.
great because Ryan Hall deserves a lot more fights than he's got. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. His fights that he's had were super exciting. The fans love him. They're getting to know him. And this is one of like the best submission artists in the game. So you know what? I want to see Ryan Hall fight. His stand-up game was actually pretty good in his last fight. And you know what? Against Pedro Munoz, it's about time. The UFC sometimes they lack on bringing out certain fighters back. Like I want to see Alio Ben Melcia fight again. We were just talking about him earlier, but I haven't seen him. There's so many fighters.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys and a lot of good guys.
What are you
Ryan
doing?
Hall getting the call though from Pedro Munoz, I think is gonna be a nice one. I like Ryan Hall. I wish he was a little bit more active because I think he could do some real damage in the UFC.
But that's not his fault, Dave. Really, it's
Yeah, well, I
it's,
guess people are not taking fights against him. It's disappointing. Yoel Romero is going to be up next for Israel Adesanya, so that's going to be the next fight for the UFC middleweight championship. Adesanya's management confirming that one is a done deal. Canadian fighter Jordan Meehan signed with Bellator, so congrats to Jordan on signing with a new MMA promotion. And speaking of Canadian fighters, John McDessie, the Bull from Laval, Quebec, he's going to be taking on Masaranduba Francisco Trinaldo March the 14th for the UFC in Brazil.
nice.
In Brasilia. So that'll be a big fight fair there for the Bull, John McDessie. That's fun.
He's fighting with Rick Rufus. Training
Duke
with Rick,
Rufus.
Duke Rufus.
Yeah.
And you know what? His career is like kind of changed. I mean, he's gotten so much better in his last fights. So I'm happy for the Bull. It's about time. And he puts on some exciting fights. It's his first time going to Brazil, that's for sure. Other than training out there.
Just before we wrap up the show, I wanted to circle back to Masvidal there for a second. If it's not Georges St-Pierre, which we don't expect it to be, people are kind of wondering, well, what's next for Georges Masvidal? Kamaru Usman, he's the welterweight champion. He's out there. Is that the fight that's going to happen here? Like people are they're circling each other. Masvidal's out there. I feel like Masvidal is kind of waiting to see what happens here with Conor. He might even be waiting to see what happens with Khabib for some reason. I don't know. Like it seems like Masvidal is kind of biding his time right now and waiting to see what his next move will be. His stock is very high. You know, he's a very hot fighter right now, beating Nate Diaz, beating Ben Askren like he did. You know, he's on fire right now. He's a big name, and I think he's trying to angle for a huge money fight like a Conor McGregor or a Georges St-Pierre. And to me, he's kind of the number one contender at 170 pounds, and he should be fighting Kamaru Usman. But it seems like he'd rather fight somebody else because he feels like, you know, a money fight like he just had with Nate Diaz is a better move than fighting the champion who isn't necessarily going to make him that much money. It's just a weird spot that we're at in MMA when a guy could kind of fight for the title, but he'd rather fight somebody else because fighting for the title isn't really worth the money.
I'm going to throw you this out. If Conor McGregor wins easy against Donald Cerrone, and Khabib still has his fight with Tony Ferguson, hey, maybe in the meantime you do Masvidal against Conor because Conor cannot face Khabib for a while. You know, if Khabib, when is that Ferguson fight? It's
April.
April. So him fighting in April means he's not having another fight for several months after that. Whereas if Conor wants to fight 3 times this year, maybe that second fight is against Masvidal, but he has.
Is that for the title you're talking about, the BMF title, or just straight?
Who cares? It's
got to be
for paper.
There's got to be something on the line.
They're fighting for money.
Conor could fight here in May and December. He could technically fight
that big July card, face Masvidal, and then in November face Khabib. That would be the perfect.
That would be perfect,
for
Freddie. I agree with
scenario
you.
for
that
Conor.
would be.
Yeah. He could do
Thumbs
that.
up.
He could fight again in July, fight again in November.
But last week you said several times, like Dana said he's gonna fight 3 times, and every time I said 3, and I'm sorry, like I'm not convinced Conor's gonna fight 3 times. He's gonna make a lot of money for this fight. Hopefully he fights again soon.
It's possible. You know, he's fighting on January 18th. It's very early in the year. He's fighting on the first UFC show of 2020. If he wants to, he could fight 3 times this year and really have a good chunk of time between fights. You know, I mean, if we're talking about fighting in July, I mean, think about how far away July is, guys. You know, it's a while. It's about 6 months away, you know, and then he'd have, another 4 to 5 months to prepare for another fight. Well, maybe a little bit less than that if he'd fight in November,
sense.
right? But
it makes sense.
3 to 4 months, November, December, he gets a fight again. It's plausible. It's something that could happen. But again, like I'm going to say over and over again, and I'm saying it over and over again, Tony Ferguson is going to beat Khabib, so it doesn't really matter with the Conor Khabib thing. Tony Ferguson's beaten the Eagle.
Well, it just means that Conor would face Ferguson. Like, I mean, if Ferguson beats Khabib, it doesn't change the fact that Conor is the big star and like he's going to get a marquee match.
Yeah, Conor will
if anything, that's good news for Conor.
Yeah. Although, yeah.
Yes and no. Because
Well, I mean, it's better news. I don't know if it's good
why?
news.
I think Conor is looking to fight Khabib again.
I don't think Conor fights for the title if Ferguson wins. I don't think Conor wants any of that.
Why?
He just doesn't. What? Have you heard Conor McGregor say a word about
Conor's
Tony
never
Ferguson?
backed down of
Not
nothing.
really.
Conor's never said anything about Tony Ferguson. Conor doesn't want anything from Tony Ferguson.
They share a same agent, man.
Maybe that's it. Maybe
some
it's a respect.
there.
I don't know. But it's strange. Like Conor and Tony Ferguson, it's never really talked
But
about.
Conor's never backed down from anybody.
But people
He
are talking
wouldn't back
about.
down.
People are saying like, oh yeah, Conor Khabib. It's like, okay, well Conor's got to beat Cerrone, and Khabib's got to beat Tony Ferguson. Now, if Conor beats Cerrone and Tony Ferguson beats Khabib, I'm not sure Conor McGregor would want to go and fight Tony Ferguson at that point. He might still want to fight Khabib, or maybe fight Masvidal, or fight Nate Diaz again. I'm telling you guys, when Tony Ferguson beats Khabib Nurmagomedov in April, Conor McGregor will not get the next shot at the lightweight title. It will not be Conor versus Tony Ferguson. It will not happen.
Dave,
Conor McGregor is going to fight somebody else.
Dave, this is how it's going to play out.
Because Conor McGregor doesn't want any of El Kakui just like Khabib should have won any of Al Kakui, because the Eagle will be grounded in April when Tony Ferguson becomes a lightweight champion. Undisputed.
Boo.
Uncrowned king.
Fred, you mind if I jump in here?
Uncrowned champion.
Thank you. Let me tell you how it's going to really play out. So listen to AJ's 85% right. This is how it's going to work. Conor is coming in. He's going to beat Cerrone. Khabib is going to beat Ferguson. Remember what I said? And then that match is going to happen in November. I'm telling you, we're going to see Khabib, Conor 2, and that fight is happening. That's the money fight. That's the fight that everybody wants to see and everybody's expecting. And it's going to happen.
I think you're both wrong in a way. Because Conor wants nothing to do with Khabib. If anything, he hopes that several guys defeats Khabib and Khabib gets out of the UFC without ever having to fight him again. But you're wrong, because if Ferguson wins, there's no way Conor McGregor is scared of Tony Ferguson. Of course, like, Tony Ferguson might defeat Conor McGregor. That's another discussion.
Of course he will.
But Conor McGregor...
Nobody's beaten Tony Ferguson. Nobody. I haven't seen the guy yet. I haven't seen that guy.
I'm not the biggest McGregor fan out there, but if anything, I'll give him the props that he never backs down from anything.
Except Tony Ferguson. Except El Kakui. Oh, I can't wait for that fight. I cannot wait for that fight. As great as Conor Cerrone is going to be next week, the real fight of 2020 is Khabib and Tony Ferguson. They've tried to make it 5 times, and 5 times it has fallen apart. Yeah, 6 times the charm.
But it's not Conor's fault. I mean, Tony, like the last time prior, he fell over some rope, right? What was it? Like some rope or some cable or something that he tripped over, and that was the end of him for a while?
Yeah.
So, you know what? Look, you can't blame it on the other fighters. Things happen.
Blame it on Khabib's tiramisu. That's why he couldn't make weight. Why are you trying to put all the blame on Tony Ferguson? Khabib also ate tiramisu the week of the fight, then couldn't make weight.
Who cannot resist tiramisu,
Had
Dave?
to go to the hospital and then didn't fight Tony Ferguson, and Ferguson wound up fighting Lando Venata instead. Come on, AJ. Let's not put all the blame on my man.
Dave, tiramisu.
I know you're Team Khabib over there because you and he have similar views on the treatment of women and whatever.
Or wrestling bears?
Yeah, well, you and Khabib are, you align politically with Khabib Nurmagomedov over there, buddy. But I do not. I am Team Ferguson all the way. Death clutch.
Listen, any guy that wrestles bears at 7 years old, in my opinion, his chances are he's going to win. And
yeah,
you know
well,
Tony Ferguson hasn't wrestled bears.
Any guy that refers,
he's wrestled nightmares.
Any guy that refers to the beast incarnate, the WWE champion Brock Lesnar, as Uncle Brock, that's the guy who's gonna win by me. Tony Ferguson calls him Uncle.
Is that what he calls him?
Because he was on his team on the Ultimate Fighter, so he's down with Brock.
Respect to Brock. I love
Tony
Brock,
Ferguson has been down with Brock since day one of his UFC career. And when you're Team Brock Lesnar, I'm with you all the way. I've been down with Tony Ferguson since Team Death Clutch, since Uncle Brock. I knew he was the champion back then. And finally, years later, he's going to take his spot on top of the throne. UFC champion with the WWE champion. Team Death Clutch, Team Brock Lesnar, brother.
That was good, Dave.
Watch Dave and Johnny live every Friday afternoon. Watch Wrestling Uncensored. Listen to Wrestling Uncensored on your radio. www.ringsidereport.net is where you want to go. Watch Dave and Johnny live. So much pro wrestling to cover on that. And then, of course, on Wrestling Uncensored, we'll prepare you for Bash at the Beach, where Diamond Dallas Page will be wrestling, teaming with Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall against MJF, The Blade, and The Butcher, taking place at Bash at the Beach, AEW Dynamite next week. We'll talk about that on Wrestling Uncensored. And Brock Lesnar, my main man, he's going to be number 1 in the Royal Rumble. We'll talk about whether or not Brock will win the Rumble on Wrestling Uncensored. I can't wait for that Rumble watch-along. That's going to be a lot of fun. January 26th in Houston, Texas.
I'll come for that one.
Are you in?
I'm in.
The Royal Rumble is my favorite wrestling show of the year. I like it more than WrestleMania.
I came last
year.
It's
so fun. The Rumble is great.
Rumble's the best.
I love the Royal Rumble. So we're going to be doing... Fredo, you're not coming for the Rumble party?
It's on a Sunday. I work the next morning.
Yeah, but it's long. It's what, 4 hours long, this show?
Yeah, it's a long
Even
show.
More. It's finishing around midnight.
That might be earlier though.
That
They've
long?
been doing it earlier, the WWE these days. Well, only one way to find out. Watch the Rumble and watch us on YouTube when you do it. www.ringsidereport.net. Go to the website. Check out everything that we do. You can watch Dave and Johnny live, Ringside Report MMA, Wrestling Uncensored. Follow AJ on Twitter and Instagram at
Central Coast.
Danny Bruck. Follow Fred at Freddy MMA, and you can follow me on all the things at Dave Simon MMA. Thank you to Marco for helping us out back at TSN 690, and thank you to you for listening and watching. For Freddie and AJ, I'm Dave, and this has been Ringside Report.
Sport.
Sport.
Slap nuts.